talk about this, I think, in a talk about history of wolf research in Denali. But is wolf packs or matriarchies? I mean, that was the title of the film tonight. You know, daughter, mother, grandmother. And I think Yellowstone has had a strong influence on figuring that out. Because, as I mentioned earlier, all of life is subtlety. You know, we all get the big things right. It's the little things that stack up and matter. And so early on, people thought that wolf packs were patriarchies, male dominated. And we've learned that it's these lineages of females that stitch everything together. So what I'm talking about is exactly the title of the film. Mama, daughter, granddaughter kind of thing. And this is really hard to figure out. One reason it's hard to figure out, we'll talk about it more as the conference unfolds, is most wolves are impacted by people. So you don't see this. So in Yellowstone, which is generally an unexploited wolf population, males leading packs. I mean, a lot of the folks I work with on the roam, and they're going to accuse my statistical abilities, but you don't even need to have statistics to show that in Yellowstone, males are dispersing way more than females. Females are staying home. So if they can, they stay in the pack and they avoid inbreeding. That's where the males lead. So it's very much male-dominated dispersal. And so this is part of this kind of stitching together that we use to figure out that wolf packs are matriarchies. And so one of Bob's conservation heroes is Adolf Murray. And he is a conservation giant. His half-brother, Adolf Murray, had connections to the Jackson area. They were half-brothers. They married half-sisters, Louise and Marty. And Bob knew Adolf. Knew him. He introduced me to his widow, Louise. They called her Weezy. We spent an afternoon with him in Jackson. Bob had a wolf pelt, sorry, Period kayak from Denali, that Adolf Murray shot in Denali. It's a different story about wolf control in Denali in the 40s. But he introduced me to Adolf's widow. And so we've talked a lot about Adolf. And Adolf wrote about, because he did publish the first, I think, Sigurd Olsen, Minnesota fame, published the first paper on wolves in ecology. I think it was 1936. But Adolf published The Wolves of Mount McKinley in 1944. And this is, he wrote about wolf packs. And I'm sorry, I didn't want to bring the book because Weezy is my favorite. And it was signed by Adolf Murray. I didn't want to bring that in my carry-on in the bag in the plane today. So I wrote this down last night. So I apologize if I stumble. This is Adolf Murray. Bob filmed Adolf. What appeared to be the largest wolf was a tall, rangy male with a long, silvery mane and a dark mantle over the side. He seemed to be the lord and master of the group. Elsewhere in the book, just as a laboring husband comes home to the family each and every evening after all day, so do the wolves come home after work all night. I'm not criticizing Adolf Murray, I would never do that, but they're matriarchies, not patriarchies. And so part of this, to exemplify this, and also in my travel here today, Kira and I sat on a plane together, and we went over these notes together. But I know Molly's pack a little bit better. There's a film coming out. There's a filmmaker in Bozeman, Tom Winston, Grizzly Creek Productions. It's called Molly's Pack. It's just being released. And it's about the first female director of the Fish and Wildlife Service, Molly Beatty, who was very important in restoring wolves to Yellowstone, who sadly died a couple of years after wolves were reintroduced. So Tom and others have weaved together the story of Molly with the first 2 years of Yellowstone wolf reintroduction. Not a plug for the film, I'm a government employee, I can't do that, but I just want to alert you to And Molly's pack, so I reread a lot of parts of the Denali wolf history as written by Gordon Haber and Mary Beth Holloman. Bridget will probably talk about this, I don't want to steal her show. But there's this big debate about, so I just talked about matriarchies, how long do these packs last? And Gordon Haber and Mary Beth wrote about, from his data posthumously, about a 7-year history of the Tokla pack. I don't think that's what Bridget and Kai call them now. There's politics there. But Molly's pack, since that was 1995, that was originally the Crystal Creek pack. They moved to Pelican Valley. They lived there ever since. It's a continuous lineage since 1995. They've had 7 alpha females. They were 5, 174, 486. I had a memorable garden experience at 486. 686, 779, 978, 1090. Their 10 years were 5, 5, 5, 2, 5, and 1. The average lifespan of a wolf in Yellowstone is about 3.5. There's been a lot of figures jumping around about that. We wrote about it slightly differently. Mean versus median, I won't get into that. But wolves don't live very long. And so you've got 7 females stitching this pack together, and 4 of them there for 5 years. So I think this is what you get in a national park situation that we'll hone in on a little bit more Saturday, because our mission is protection.
Wolf Symposium 2022 on Stolen Wapcute Land.